Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into TradeChat. My name is Panzer, and today we're going to be talking about a bunch of changes that are coming to gear in Battle for Azeroth. I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you do, remember to rate it thumbs up. Artifacts will not be coming with us into the next expansion. Something is going to happen at the beginning of Battle for Azeroth, which will result in everyone losing their artifacts. And whether you are celebrating or mourning this loss, it's happening, so deal with it. Good talk. Before you ask, any artifact appearances and variants that you've earned in Legion will be transmoggable going forward. Unfortunately, right now it does seem like it's going to be locked to the spec that you earned them on, which is pretty lame. But in less lame news, druids will have ways to transmog their forms, which is awesome. What kind of ways, you ask? Well, probably just the barbershop. According to Blizzard, all artifact appearances and color variants will still be obtainable after Legion, with the exception of the Mage Tower Challenge skin and the Mythic plus 15 color variants for the Balance of Power appearance. If you already have the Mage Tower appearance, you will be able to unlock its color variants after Legion. Since they weren't specifically mentioned, I'm led to believe that that means we'll still be able to earn the PvP prestige appearances and color variants, although I have no idea how that will work, so your guess is as good as mine, and there's conveniently a comment section below in which you can discuss this. It's also worth mentioning that some of our favorite artifact traits will be coming with us into the Battle for Azeroth in the form of baseline abilities, talents, or on new gear items. Legendaries, as we know them in Legion, are not going to exist in Battle for Azeroth, so there's no more praying to RNGesus for your godforsaken Praetorian Tide Collars. At BlizzCon, it seemed like Legendaries were going to be completely out, but in the most recent Q&A, Ian Hazacostas didn't seem to want to rule out the idea of iconic Legendaries like the way we saw them in previous expansions. Regardless, it's unlikely that we would see a Legendary at the launch of Battle for Azeroth, or maybe even in the entire expansion, especially considering that we know that Blizzard is replacing Legendaries with this new piece of gear, which is basically the love child of an artifact weapon in a Legendary, called the Heart of Azeroth. The Heart of Azeroth is an artifact quality neck piece item, which allows you to unlock latent powers on special pieces of Azerite armor for your chest, helmet, and shoulders. This whole system is basically just your artifact version 2.0. You can increase the power of your Heart of Azeroth by absorbing a new resource called Azerite. Azerite is sort of like artifact power, only it's not something that you actually loot, and it's not spec specific. When you get close to Azerite in the world, it literally just absorbs into your amulet, so no more taking up bag space like some other certain types of powers. Azerite can be found all over Azeroth because it is literally the blood of the planet. And you know, before I wrote up the notes for this video, I didn't even realize that planets had blood, and it got me to thinking, in Battle for Azeroth, are we being used as some sort of makeshift medical gauze to keep the planet from just like bleeding out everywhere? Or are we like vampires using voodoo osmosis to feed off of and gain power from a planet? And if that is the case, are we the bad guys? Because that kind of seems like a dick move. Anyways, the more Azerite that your Heart of Azeroth absorbs, the more powerful it will be, and the more choices that you'll have as far as those latent powers on your Azerite armor are concerned. Remember that your Azerite armor comes in 3 varieties: helmet, shoulders, and chest. Each piece of Azerite armor has predetermined traits which can be unlocked using the power of your Heart of Azeroth. These traits are specific to each piece of gear, and there is no RNG involved. Furthermore, even in obtaining pieces of Azerite armor, there is no RNG involved. Every piece of Azerite armor has a predetermined source, so players can make choices about which piece of Azerite armor they would like to obtain. If you really want that piece of gear, just figure out which boss it drops from, and then go kill him enough times, and eventually it'll be yours. I mean, unless you're really, really, really unlucky, but in that case, I can't really help you. I'm sorry. I feel for you, though. Azerite armor will be an integral part of gearing up in Battle for Azeroth, especially considering that we won't have any Legendaries or tier pieces. Do not adjust your internets, you heard that correctly. After a 13-year stretch of tier set bonuses, Blizzard will be doing away with them. Instead, we'll have our 3 pieces of Azerite armor, each with a special set of traits and bonuses that can be made more powerful with our Heart of Azeroth amulet. And who knows, maybe way into the future, further into Battle for Azeroth, Blizzard will add additional pieces of Azerite armor, giving us even more latent powers to unlock. But for now, every piece that's not Azerite armor is just going to be standard gear. That gear will come from questing, forging, instances, dungeons, raids, all of the regular sources, and of course, Mythic Plus, because the Mythic Plus loot system is not having any real major changes made between Legion and Battle for Azeroth, so it's still going to be one of the best ways to get gear in the game. It's also worth mentioning that Battle for Azeroth will bring us yet another squish, both in stat and eye level, but don't worry about things like soloing old content, because even with the leveling changes coming in patch 7.3.5, the zones that are scaling will still have a cap which will be well below the max level, so no worries in that department. Finally, you can also expect to see Warforging and Titan Forging following us into the Battle for Azeroth, and I know a lot of players are probably disappointed by this, and if you're one of them, you should at least find a little relief knowing that Warforging and Titan Forging are planned to be less common than they are currently in Legion. It should feel more rare and more special than it does right now. Just to recap, a TLDR of the whole situation is that Battle for Azeroth will be doing away with artifacts, legendaries, and tier set bonuses. Instead, we'll have a new Azerite system, which consists of the Heart of Azeroth amulet, which unlocks latent powers on your Azerite armor, which will be for your chest, helmet, and shoulders. Azerite armor has predetermined latent traits which can be unlocked using the power on your Heart of Azeroth amulet. The Heart of Azeroth can be made more powerful by collecting Azerite, which is found all over Azeroth through regular gameplay. And that's about it for what we know so far about gearing in Battle for Azeroth. Now keep in mind, all this information is highly tentative and subject to change. Obviously, Battle for Azeroth isn't even in the beta yet, so it's very up in the air as to what changes will be made, but this is what we know right now, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comments section below about the gear changes coming in Battle for Azeroth. I, for one, am looking really forward to it. I feel like they took a lot of player feedback regarding artifacts and applied it to this new Azerite system, and I'm just excited. I'm mostly excited for no stupid artifact power in my bags anymore, no complicated artifact knowledge. I'm happy that they're getting rid of the Netherlight Crucible, which I still don't really understand. And honestly, I'm not mad about the fact that we're losing tier bonuses. I know that there's going to be way more art styles and way more aesthetic gear to choose from, and I also feel like instead of having our 2-piece and our 4-piece set bonuses, we'll have 3 separate set bonuses, and that kind of seems like in the long run it could be better. Plus, who knows, they could add more Azerite armor in the future and then we'll have even more choices, but that could end up being like Legendaries 2.0, except that it's not random, so it's not really Legendaries 2.0. I don't know, I feel like a lot of feedback from Legion was put into this system, and that is very encouraging to me, but those are just my thoughts. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to rate it, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm gonna go. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you all. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. 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 In less lame nudes. Nudes. By absorbing a new resource. I would really like to know why I can't say the word resource. Oh my god, resource!